Hi there. I just thought I'd do a video to show you how to use the new listings table and the scalar table. So this is the Merch Wizard starter template. I've just copied it from the link that you can get from the group. This is for the version 2.2, as you can see up here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take all the stuff that you find in here, basically just get rid of everything. Take it right back to the beginning and then show you how to get it back to this point. So we'll just tick this box up here, right click and delete all. Yep. Okay, so there's nothing in there. And then for the scalar, we're going to do exactly the same. Just click everything, delete all. Yep. So you've deleted all the records, but you still have the fields or columns. Okay, so AirTable claims to be a kind of database. It's sort of a hybrid between the spreadsheet that you probably know and then a database. It's not really a database, but the terminology is sort of along the lines of a database. So here we would probably call this a cell in Excel or Google Sheets, whatever. And now it's called a field. This would have been a column. I suppose that's also a field. This is the field title. You see here it's referring to the primary field. This is database language. So just so you know, I mean, we still have rows, so that's still a row. Well, it's actually a record, so just to confuse things. But I might mix and match between the words. It will get a bit confusing, but I'll try and stick to the Airtable terminology if I can. But if I slip into spreadsheet lingo, then you'll understand what I mean, hopefully. Let me just delete that again. So just out of interest there, what happens is, so we've got some pre-written formulas in here already. Rick showed you these in the version 2.2 video, which you can find on the YouTube channel. These are very basic formulas just to give you an idea what can be done. We're going to look at these in detail, how it works, how to build it up yourself. I just wanted to explain why when you create a new record here, why you get some words appearing already. It just seems a bit weird when you've not done anything. You'd expect it to be empty, but it's because the formulas here are already performing a function. They're actually performing, if I scroll right to the right, they're performing a formula on an empty field, so none of this really makes sense. Proud Designs, what kind of a brand name is that? You know, if I put a job in here, so let's say teacher to start with, you'll see this slowly populates. So this is all done online, real time, so it depends on the speed of your internet, it depends on a number of factors, but you just saw, very basically, you saw how that was created. So what I want to do is bring up just a little, just some notes I've made about for this video, just to guide me a little bit. So you often hear this word concatenate. It actually, here you can see it means link things together in a chain or series. So that basically means join, a link, or connect. So what we need to do, just to come back here, is we need to join this word here with some other words in order to form a title or a brand. So if I bring up the sheet here, I'll show you there's a link here, which is it's just got the formula field reference for Airtable. So what this is, it explains some basic operations that you can perform within Airtable. So it's a bit like spreadsheets, but some of the terminology, some of the formulas are different, some of the fields are different. But basically, the one that we're looking at here is ampersand, or and, if you like. And so for more advanced users, you can refer to this, and you can do some pretty interesting things here, but I'm not going to get into all this deep stuff now. I just want to keep this really simple. So what I'll do, I'll just open up my little thing here. So we want to create a title of a shirt which says "Proud Mom to the Best Accessory Designer T-shirt." Now we know what we're trying to achieve. I'm going to explain how we get there. So you'll see I've color coded these. Basically, the green ones, so mom is a relative, okay? And an accessory designer is an occupation. So I've tried to color code it just to show you how we build up this formula. So, I mean, if we come back over here, we've got what's useful in this example, we've got relative here. So we can put in mom. So we get rid of teacher. And then we've got, what's the occupation? So accessory designer. Okay. And now you can see over here we're on the same page. So, proud mum to the best accessory designer T-shirt. So the bits in black are the text bits or strings which we want to combine with the variable fields. Mum being a variable field, that could be dad, it could be brother, sister, whatever. And accessory designer is a variable field for occupation, which could be artist, doctor, firefighter, whatever. So I've changed now here proud relative. So you can see up here, this is the relative field, and that could potentially change if you wanted to the best occupation. And here we've got occupation is accessory designer. Now we've got to get this into a language which Airtable understands, which is kind of like this. So all the bits in black need to be encapsulated or surrounded by these double quotation marks. They've got the word proud, and then we've got a space. Now the space is important as well, because the way we type in relative in here, there's no spaces at the end or at the beginning. Okay, so it's important that we have a space before we introduce these variables. So then we've got that text string, then we've got this text string here, which has got another space there and another space here, and then occupation and T-shirt. And the last step is basically to connect these together and to come back to this formula field reference that we were just talking about here. The operator to connect is this one here, the ampersand or and. So that's what I've got here. So we've got the text string with the double quotation marks, then we've got the and, then we've got relative and blah 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 blah. Okay, so moving on, there's another example here. My actor mom is the best mother to her daughter. So we've got 4 variables going on here: actor, mom, mother, and her daughter. The reason I've included her daughter is because this is quite complex. If you change this to dad, for example, then it's not going to be to her daughter anymore, it's going to be his daughter. So I've included this within the field to change it. So let me just populate these values where they need to go in the Airtable. So firstly, we've got the occupation is actor, then we've got relative mom, relative alternative, in this case is mother, and the relationship is her daughter, lowercase, her daughter, just so we're all spot on. So let's check. So my actor is in occupation, my mom is in relative, mother is in relative alternative, and her daughter is in relationship. Okay, so you probably follow it down here anyway. So again, this is in the double quotation marks with the space, and we've got the 2 variables together. So I'll show you how to connect those. Another text string, another variable, and then this is how it looks in Airtable lingo, if you like. Basically, we just put one of these and ampersand between each of these sections. So we put one in here, one in between there, one in here, one in here, one in here, and one in here, which is basically what we've got down here. So what I'm going to do is select this entire row here. I'm going to copy it with Control and C, or Command C if you're on Mac. I'm going to the title here, select all. I just double clicked or triple clicked, I think it was here, and then get rid of that, and then paste that in. Now, because I've used a Word document editor, this is Pages from Apple. It converts the speech marks into what they call smart speech marks or whatever, and that doesn't actually work in here. So I'm just going to replace the smart speech marks with the normal ones, or whatever they're called. You can see there there's just around here, they've got like a shape to them. So I'll just delete that and then just type it in again. Of course, you could type this all in manually. I'll do that on the next one just to show you it in action. So just to go through that again, so we've got this line here, basically pasted in there, and we click Save, and here we go. So I'll expand that field. If you come up here between the fields, it sort of goes blue. You can click and drag and move that around. Another way of changing this up is to click here on the row height and then just increase it as much as you need to in order to be able to fit the text. So, okay, let's just leave it on this one here. So you can actually see there's an error in this, or not an error, but there's a mistake in my formula. So my accessory designer mum is the best something to. Okay, so that's not working. The reason that's not working is because we haven't got all of the fields populated over here. So let's just fill those in. I'll copy those across actually from the record below. And mother, her daughter. Okay, so let's have a look at this again. My accessory designer mum, so there needs to be a space there. I'll show you that in a second. Is the best mother to her daughter. Okay, this is a terrible title, but I'm not demonstrating how to write the best titles. I'm demonstrating how to create dynamic titles using Airtable. So, so we need a space in between designer and mum. So that comes into the best. Accessory designer mum. So it's my occupation. Right, okay, so occupation and mom. So I've connected these two fields together. This is what I was explaining earlier. Because if you look at occupation here, there's no spaces in front or behind. There is between the words, but not in front or behind. So if I connect those two together, it's going to say accessory designer mom without a space between designer and mom, which is exactly what's happened here. So what I'll do is I need to basically insert a space between these two fields. So I'll add that in, just like before with the text strings that we were talking about. So I've got basically a text string which is a space, and I've inserted that between the two, put an ampersand on to connect it, and then we're good to go. There we go. My accessory designer mom is the best mother to her daughter. Okay. So let's do something for brand. So we can either modify what's there or we can create something ourselves. Let's just create it from scratch. That's probably the best. So let me bring up here. Let's go to the first example. Proud mom. Now this doesn't work for a brand. Let's just say accessory designer t-shirts. Let's just say that's going to be our brand. Okay. Accessory designer shirts. In fact, tell you what, let's put some in. Merch wizard merch. Sorry. Well, I'm not sorry, I just made a sale. Sorry you had to hear that. Merch wizard merch, accessory designer shirts. Okay, that's terrible. Okay, but anyway, so we'll put it in. So the first bit is text. It's in black. Merch wizard merch. Right. Okay. So we need to insert that in a double quotation mark. So double quotation mark. Merch wizard merch. Put space at the end. And now we need to add in the variable, which in this case is accessory designer, but the field name is occupation, so we need to add an occupation. If we just type OCC, you can see that this actually finds it already. So OCC, it's in grey, it's not very visible. It's a bit of a feature thing I don't like about Airtable. In this case, you can't really see it, but if you know it's there, it's fine. So their occupation, so it's already filled that out for you. So where are we? Occupation shirts, right? Okay, so we need occupation. I need to connect them up, as I've said before, with this and I'm going to put some text at the end, so I need to add that in. Put a space and then go shirts and close it off. Okay, so here we go. Merch wizard, merch, and then accessory designer shirts. That's your brand name. Again, it's not amazing, but it's just to show you the principle. So while we're on these two, title and brand, you can see for the next record we've got actor, we've got mom, mother, her daughter. So these are all the same, but the occupation has changed. So you can see here it's auto-populated. My actor mom is the best mother to her daughter. So this is the bit that's dynamic and that's changed. Here, merch was merch always stays the same. Actor's the dynamic bit, and then shirts. Okay. So what I'm going to do is look at, we've got bullet 1 and 2 and the description as well. So I can leave these as is. These are the default ones that Rick set up. So I mean, just inspect them. Wear this t-shirt with pride as a relative alternative of a talented occupation. So by now you should be starting to get a feel for which words you'd expect to come up. So relative alternative, we can see over here. So mother is going to appear in place of this. And then for occupation, you're going to get this. Okay, so we'll leave bullet 1 and 2 as they are. And then the description, let's see how he's got this. Okay, so basically he's concatenated, there's that word again, joins, links, connects. Firstly the brand, then he's put a full stop or a period in between, then he's put title, and then he's put bullet 1 and bullet 2. So this should actually now make sense to you. Basically what this is doing is your brand name over here doesn't have a full stop after it, neither does your title, and in this case neither do your bullet points. So what this formula is doing is putting brand, title, bullet 1 and bullet 2 together, and then it's putting a dot and a space in between each one just to make it more readable. So that's what this bit is here, dot space in between. Okay, and then what I'll do, I'll just increase the row height a bit more, and then I'll expand this a little bit. There you go. So now you can see it all this together. Now actually the description you don't really need to generate. I mean, this is auto-generated, so that you can actually forget the fact that this exists. And additionally in Merch Wizard, you've also got the auto description generator, which does exactly the same thing. It takes the brand, the title, the bullet 1, the bullet 2, whacks them all together and puts dots and spaces in between. That's effectively what it's doing. So what I would recommend is that for your bullets, you don't actually put dots, full stops, periods at the end of your text. You can see in the formula there's no, if I wanted to put a full stop at the end, I would have to add a full stop in like this. And you can see that's now added the full stop, and then of course we get a problem here where we've got 2 full stops. It's not the end of the world, it doesn't look that bad, but it's just so you understand how the process is working. So I'm going to get rid of that, don't need it. Another little cool thing with Airtable is if you do Control and Z, that's the undo operation, the previous operation. Command Z on Mac. And I think it's Control Y will redo. Yeah, okay, so if you concentrate on this bit here, accessory design at no full stop, then if I undo, so Control Z or Command Z, it adds it, and then Control Y or Command Y, it removes it, because I'm basically undoing, redoing, undoing, redoing. So if you make a mistake with anything, you can always hit Control Z and you'll go back 1 step. Sometimes you have to go back a few steps, it depends how much you've done before you realise you made a mistake, where you want to go back to. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to import all of my occupations. because there's like Rick had like 199 or 100 occupations that he got off a list off the internet somewhere. So I'm just going to bring that in now. I've got it in a CSV file. You can type them in manually, or you can get a list from wherever you want to get a list from. So I have a CSV file. I'm just going to drop it in. Occupation. There we go. Let's drop that in. Okay, so this is a temporary table which I've just created. You can create a new table by creating an empty table. Right, okay, this is what a default table looks like. In this case, I don't want an empty table. I'm just showing you that you can do that, and this is useful for expanding your Airtable functionality when you know a little bit more about how to use it to its full potential. So imported table, that's giving it a name. I don't like that name. I'm just going to call this Occu. How do you spell occupation? Alright, occupations. Yeah, okay, well, if it's wrong, I apologise, I think that's right, okay. So basically this was a CSV file with a list of jobs, occupations. That's all it is. What I'm going to do is select that and Control-C again. In fact, I'll just say Control-C. For any Mac users, you know it's Command-C from now on. Whenever I say Control, it's Command. Okay. So into the scalar, I believe we were, occupation. So I'm just going to Control-V. And then because I'm going to create another 98 record, 97 records, yeah, 97, it's telling you there. It's asking you to expand the table or don't expand the table. So if I don't expand the table, all it's going to do is paste the first two. You can see there we've got accessory designer and actor. They're the first two. Guess what? We had them already. So that's not really helped us. So if I select that column again, Control-V, and this time I'm going to say expand the table. That's going to open up new records and populate with the fields that we need. Okay, so just scroll up. You can see there all the different jobs all the way and take this, yeah. So in this example, we're just using mom, mother, daughter. I mean, you could change these on the fly. So I could put dad, I could put father, and I could put his daughter in there. And you'll see here this is already updated. So merch wizard, merch actor shirts, and then you've got my active dad is the best father to his daughter. And then if I just scroll across here, this is also updated. The bullets, father and his daughter. If you're his daughter, oh, that doesn't work. Ha. Okay, well, let's correct that. So what I need to do is change the his daughter bit for something that makes sense. So that's going to be, I'm going to put father or dad. Now I've already used father here, let's put dad in. So if I scroll over here, dad is the relative. So let's just come back to here and change the relationship. That's where the his daughter bit is. There you go, his daughter. And we want dad to appear, so it's relative. So if we change this, we'll just delete it. And then type relative, and that should make a little bit more sense now. So if your dad is the best actor, then let them know you're proud of them by wearing this t-shirt. Okay, again, it's not the best bullet point, but you get the idea. Everything else is updated dynamically as well. This is all updated. That's the power, or some of the power of the scalar, which hopefully you're starting to realize by now. Now, in terms of price, you can put, if you put a price in here, then that will be pulled into with Merch Wizard later. I'm just going to put in 19.99 because that's just the default, and then I'm going to copy, drag that down. Oh no, no, that's quite slow. Okay. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to select this. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. I'm going to select the last one, and I'm going to do Control-V, and I'm going to paste. I'm going to wonder why it didn't do anything. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so that's all the prices, and you can put whatever price you like in. The only thing that will kick up an error is if that price is less than the zero royalty. So I think it's $12.87 for standard shirts. So if that's less than that, it's going to give you some issues later on when you're importing. So working our way across, we've got product type. This column doesn't actually serve a purpose at the moment, so just ignore that for now. Fit types, we can put, again, whatever you put in here means one thing you don't have to put in when you're actually doing your uploading to merch. So we've got the three options by default. Obviously now we've got the youth size issue, so you might want to be careful what you're designing for. But let's just put in adult shirts here, and then I can I'll copy that, Control C, and then I'll select. In fact, I'll do it like this. You click here, it'll select the entire column, and then you can Control V, and that pastes all your values down. I mean, you can change individual ones if you decide that that this one is going to be mom, mother and her daughter, for example. You can say, well, I don't want to put that on men's shirts, and say you've made a choice there. I mean, yeah, okay. Basically, whatever you set here is loaded in via Merch Wizard in your uploading process. You can also set the colours as well. So we've got colours, yeah, on field. These are all the merch colours. So if you know what your design looks like on various colours, then good. If you don't, then there's an element of guesswork here. But let's just pick a few, whatever. You can also search. Let's just say, okay, so we've got 5 colours, and just for argument's sake, I'm just going to populate those in the entire table. So what I did there, I selected, I Control C, right click. No, you can't do a right click in AirTable, so you have to use the keyboard commands. So Control C, select the whole column, Control paste. There we go. Now, if you have your design already, you can pop it in here. What that does is when you call up the listing during your upload process, that makes this PNG available to you. So just for demonstration's sake, I'm just going to take design, any old design, doesn't matter, something I downloaded before. It's not even the right, I've got a hoodie PNG here, but let's just assume that it's the right design for this particular listing. See, that's uploading, populating. This is where it helps actually to have a decent size row height, because then you'll see the design in here better. If it's short like this, it's really tiny, and you can hardly see them. It's still not actually populate. It's not created the preview yet. There it is. You just seen it pop in. It takes a few minutes or a few seconds. Go to extra tall, and you can see it better here. Okay, so I've obviously picked a white white design on a white background, so I'm sure you can see it a little bit. If you want to make it bigger, you can click on it and then it'll load up here. Okay. So for the sake of example, I'm just going to copy that again, and then I'll paste that onto one of my rest of my records. Now, obviously, the design's going to change for the different, because you've got advertising designer here, you've got actor, you've got animation director. I know it's a rugby designer, and I know that you have to have a different design for each one, but I'm just showing you principle. So obviously we've got to populate these. So we'll just go with the mother thing here. We'll copy that, and then we'll paste. And I'll do it like this. If I select the 3-sided, I selected that field or column. Held Shift and then click that one, and then if I do a Control V, is that going to work? Yeah, okay. So I've just basically put mom, mother, her daughter in everything. Okay. So I think we've put everything in this scaler now, that we're now ready to put it into the new list. So scaler is, think of this table as your means of creating the data, and with all the formulas and that, and then new listings is where you need to put it so that Merch Wizard can call it up when you're doing your uploading. The extension can call it up. So you see I've deleted everything. what I need to do is basically click here to create an empty record, and then click again to select the row. And then I'll go back to here. I'll select everything by clicking this little square here. Control C. Back to new listings, selecting that row again, and then Control V. As we had this example before, if you click here, it's only going to paste the first entry because they've only got one record created. So we want to expand, so click yes. And there we go. So now I'm going to show you how this works with Merch Wizard. So I'll open up the extension here. So by default you have source, product type and market are just set to 0. And if you perform a search on nothing, then you'll see all of your live listings. Now, what we need to do is tell Merch Wizard to look in this new listings table for these new listings. So change the source here to new listings, and then this has brought up everything. So you can see the Merch Wizard merch, accessory design shirts. This is in the order that we've got them in the Airtable. And then you can see it's got the preview of the image. So that's good. So I mean, if I wanted to work on the ceramics artist, I could type in here. And there we go. So there's the ceramics artist shirt, and then I can select it, and that calls it up with the right design. Obviously we've been through the fact that this isn't the right design, but you see the principle at least. There it is, loaded up, and then if you want you can click to download it if you're on another machine or somewhere else or different day, whatever. And then you've got this switcher if it's a dark design, white background, whatever. Yeah, okay, so I think that's pretty much all I need to show you. For now, yeah, I mean that's a basic overview of the scaler and the new listing. So once you've uploaded everything, we don't need to, but it's recommended that you clear this table and ready for the next time you want to use it. So just select all, delete all, yes. So that's empty, ready for your next go. And then with the scaler, you can. It depends how you want to do it, really. I mean, what you could do actually is duplicate this base and create multiple scalar tables for different purposes. So this would be for you could call it the occupation relative scalar table, and then you could you click here, you click duplicate. We don't need to bring the records. So if you have that ticked, it will bring in all the records that we've got, and we don't need those. So just duplicate the table. So we can change the name of this to anything we like. This table name isn't currently referenced for anything, it's just so that you know what it's called. So you could call it US state, spell properly, US state scalar, and then you could start changing up these formulas. First thing you would do is change this to states. Then you could call this the initial of the state. For example, California would be CA. Here you put California, and well, whatever else you want. If you're doing California mom shirts, then obviously you could leave these in. If you're doing California sports shirts, you could change this to sport, and then you can put in, for example, and then you've got these. It's always good to put in one set of variables first while you build your formulas, so you can see what's working and what's not. So here you've got Merch Wizard merch, California shirts. Okay, it reads my California CA is the best soccer too. This doesn't work, so you'd have to rebuild this formula so that it did work. That's just to give you an example that you can create multiple tables for different scalar variations for US states or for star signs or birthday years, whatever. The occupations list, by the way, we've finished with this because we've imported that list, but you might want to keep that table as a reference for future scale designs. So basically anything, like you could have a list for US states, which you could probably actually put in here. So I can't spell states for some reason. So you put in US states, and then you can put in a load here. So this is just a table. All it does is store some words just to enable you to quick copy them in the future if you do more scale designs around the states or around occupation names, whatever. So yeah, okay, so there's scalar. So what I'll do is I will delete everything except one. I'll just delete this. Sort of the habit I've got into, just to leave one in the scalar so I can actually see what's being created there. So I'll leave that like that. New listings is blank, and then we're good to go for the next one. Okay, I hope that helps. We're going to be doing more videos. We're working on more videos as we speak, so hopefully these give you an insight into the power of Airtable, and basically you can create so much with this. Almost whatever you can think of in terms of putting a sentence together for a title or a brand or whatever, you can pretty much do it. So start thinking creatively there. Okay, thanks. Bye for now.